LG Pro Series is well underway, and we have two teams who are in contention for the playoffs vying tonight on Lgpsn Pro Series Tuesday Night Hockey. Hi, everyone. T-Sibs, and with me is Cosmo, and as we bring you our first live broadcast of a Pro Series game, we hope to do more of these down the road. For those of you tuning in, glad to have you with us, and we thought we'd have two games tonight, but the early game was canceled, so we are going to go with the 11:30 game, and hopefully everything's getting going there, and we'll bring that game to you in a minute. It is a game that is matching up two teams, as I said, on the winning side. Unfinished Business is 10-4, going up against Demolition Crew at 9-5. Unfinished Business is sixth in the standings with Demo at number 7. Of course, Take a Lap is leading everybody big time right now with a 23-3 record. And after that, Slaughter and Chill, Jam, Relentless, and Social Outcast are the top 5. And then we go into Unfinished Business and Demo Crew. And Cosmo, it's been some pretty good competition so far, as we've seen in the Pro League. Obviously, Take a Lap is doing incredibly well, but Unfinished Business, Demo Crew, two squads that certainly have a lot of talent on their teams and are looking to try and keep pace with each other tonight. We talk about a lot of guys that probably not a lot of people do know. First, let's take a look at Unfinished Business with starting center a Convict, and then left wing a T Golden and Shroom Smoke right wing. A soccer player at left D, Jay Nasty at right D, and Matt 4029, the goaltenders. Talk about Unfinished Business and the level of talent that you see on this team.
They actually, I actually don't know who their goalie is. I know Jay Nasty's. He's a solid righty. He's gonna force you to the boards. He's gonna be one you really don't want to mess with. He's good with the forecheck. And can get those shots on net. As a goalie myself, I really don't like playing against him. A Shroom Smoke up there on the right wing. He's, again, one of those guys you really don't want to play against. He has a nice wrist shot, and he finds the open lanes. I really don't know too much about the rest of that group. We haven't played them yet here in Pro Series. I guess I should say lucky for us, because that would be a tough matchup to go against.
So on the other side, Demo Crew at 9-5. M. Pelly, King Clutch, Hriz on the front line, Showcase 91, Scrumsy on defense, and No Chance 85 is a guy I'm sure a lot of people have seen play. I played a lot of games in several different leagues with him. A good, solid goaltender. He's not going to get you. He's typically not going to, get you into trouble. So far, he is 4-0 in the season with 1 goal against average, and so he is playing incredibly well at 86.7 goal save percentage, and so a good solid goaltender for Demo Crew, and certainly a frontline King Clutch at center, doing very well, leading this line in points with 27, 14 goals, 13 assists, -5 on the plus-minus, but still putting up some good numbers offensively, and he's 7-5 when he's in the games. M. Pelly 5-4. He's played 9 games, 11 goals, 10 assists, and so certainly putting up some good numbers. And I'm sure, like many of these pro teams, Cosmo, these are guys who have played a lot with each other over the years, have played countless games. Unlike the regular league games where you wind up playing with different players pretty much every year, with these pro series, you can wind up playing with the same team over and over again. And I've played one season, and the one thing I come away with in the pro series is that the level of competition, because of that familiarity with all the players on your team, the level of competition is just at a really high level.
Oh, it is for sure. I mean, the rosters, their size is 6 through 10. I mean, so you could have guys where you just play with on a nightly basis and only play with those guys for 9 weeks straight. That's your team versus like you were saying over on the LG side where you got a roster of 17 players to deal with. So you're playing with different guys over there, and it's a lot bigger pool to choose from players
Right.
on that side.
Right.
And over here, it's you have. I mean, you pick your team. It's you pick your guys. So you're pretty much only gonna pick your friends.
Well, unfortunately, we just got word that the game was canceled, the second game here, so we're not going to have a live game per se, but we're going to try and get one of the players from Unfinished Business, Soccer Player, and hopefully we will get him on here in a second just to talk to us about Pro Series.
Yeah,
Uh,
he'll know more than I do. He's plays in the NHL. He'll know these guys way better than I do. I mean, if we were talking about my team, I could answer every question there was, but I'm not going to be biased on this. So,
Well, yeah, and do me a favor, talk to us a little bit, talk to the listening audience here about the top couple of teams. Have you had a chance to see Take a Lap? What are they, what are they like? What are they doing right?
they're playing a lot of looks like a lot of games compared to some of the teams in the standings. But I mean, they're 23 3. So they obviously know how to get this stuff done. Us over here in Overdrive, we have not had a chance to play them yet. Hopefully they're done with their winning ways by the time we get there.
Well, anyway, we've got Soccer Player on with us right now. Thanks for joining us tonight. And unfortunately, we don't have a game to talk about, but
Yeah,
uh,
that's the story.
were you guys dealing with any kind of technical issues tonight? Because I know certainly on the regular league side, we were having issues with teams just trying to get into the club challenge. We wound up having a couple of teams that wound up having to make a new team just to get a game going. Anything like that
No,
happening tonight?
as far as we were going, we were playing games for club and we were preparing for Pro Series, and we didn't have any issues. So I don't know what else was going on because most of our guys we took off from the LG season. At least tonight and tomorrow night as we're scheduled for Pro Series so that we could play Pro Series. And tonight just wasn't the night, I guess.
Well, with that with that being the case, I figure let's take some time to talk about some of the teams in the league, and definitely let's talk about your team to start with. Unfinished Business right now at 10-4, I believe, is your current record.
Yep.
There's a lot of competition in this league so far, but talk about your roster, your squad, and how long have you guys been playing together? Is this a relatively new group of guys, or do you guys have a lot of history behind you?
This is definitely a new group of guys. We pretty much threw a group together a week before Pro Series started. Uh, some of the guys know each other. We've played with each other in the past, but not exclusively. Um, so it was a new group to get used to. We practiced a lot before the real game started. Generally, overall, we're a very defensive team, so we're not expecting to score a whole ton of goals, which has its ups and downs, obviously. Against other defensive teams, it's going to be a 1-2 goal game. But overall, we mesh pretty well. There's 3D men on the roster.
Mm-hmm.
We have two goalies, Matt, who has been MIA for the last 2 weeks. Normally our starting goalie, but Sam stepped up. He played well. Our forward group, Akon's been playing really well at center. He's probably one of the better defensive centers I've seen in years. DJ's been playing relatively well at left wing. Not my personal favorite, but that happens on teams, I guess.
Right.
But we're meshing pretty well for a group that was pretty much just thrown together.
I've talked about this. I actually even mentioned it at the beginning of this broadcast. I played one season of pro a couple of seasons ago. Again, a couple of guys knew each other. A bunch of us had never really played together with each other. Wound up with no wins at all in the season. So, and that's why I posed that question because, in this league, you wind up getting a lot of teams who've been playing over and over again with each other. They know what each other's going to do. They know where they're going to be on the ice at all times, and that makes for a highly competitive game all the time. It has to be a little bit more of a challenge to be playing against teams like that when you guys are still trying to figure each other out at this point.
Absolutely. I mean, the biggest thing is we've had myself and Akon step up more as a leadership role and to say what we're going to do on the ice. Strategy plays a huge role as far as our game style and the way we play.
Mm-hmm.
Not to give anything away for teams that will play us, but we do play in a system, to put it simply. And for guys that don't conform too well, they don't play nearly as much.
Gotcha.
I can actually agree to that one. Like, our guys, when we first started, we were practicing all the time, and we got on a bad streak, and now nobody wants to play. It's kind of annoying.
I know that feeling.
So what kinds of things do you guys? I mean, again, not knowing each other tremendously well, what kinds of things do you work on when you get a chance to do some practice and some drop-in games?
Most recently, we've been more focused on our special teams, power play and penalty kill, because that's one of our weaker areas. We don't score very many goals as it is, so we should be scoring on power plays. Penalty kills, generally we get mixed up. We have guys chasing. We have 3 guys in one corner, and we give up a ton of goals. So that's one thing we've definitely had to work on, especially recently.
Talk about some of the competition that we see up top of the standings. Obviously we talked a little bit about one of the the leading team that's up there, and I'm trying to pull up the actual standings. There we go. Take a lap.
Yeah.
At 23 wins already at this point. It looks like the rest of the crowd is well within your reach, but have you guys played Take a Lap yet? And
we have.
So what kind of things are they doing that are putting them in this position?
As unbiased as I can, just because I feel like Take a Lap was catered to throughout this entire Pro Series. No shots at anyone personally. A lot of rules and favors have gone their way as far as them missing out on rules, not rescheduling when they should. They played relatively well, but I was expecting a lot more from them. We played 2 really tight games with them, and they didn't turn out in our favor, but we played pretty well against them. As far as other teams, Jam, we actually just played in a club game. Jam is probably the best team I've seen out of all of them. They're consistent. There's no real weak link there. Even their goaltending can stand on their heads at times.
So like, I'm assuming at some point you've played in the regular league as well.
Yep.
We talked already about level of competition and the fact that all these guys are familiar. And certainly that's helpful. Is there anything about Pro Series that is a bit of a drawback compared to playing in a regular league in LG?
It's tough to say because in a regular league like LG, the general competition is dispersed pretty well. Of course, you have your one or two powerhouse teams in each conference, but generally overall, it's pretty spread out. Pro Series, you have the best of the best teams going at it, and you have the best players competing game in and game out. So, if anything, I wouldn't say that Pro Series would be a drawback. I would say that it's better competition overall.
There is one drawback I would take from it is if someone you will say you have a 6-man roster instead of with the 10, and someone has an emergency like we'll say they have a family member pass away. Hopefully, now it doesn't happen, but it can happen.
Absolutely.
And then you're screwed because you can't pull up that ECU. So there is one drawback with that, not being able to have someone in a pinch, and like you guys had to tonight, have to take a forfeit if you run out of reschedules.
I mean, yeah. I mean that's the risk of running a 6-man roster, though. I mean, you have up to 10 spots on the roster, and to have 10 guys on a roster and not be able to field 6 is more than likely a roster issue, not so much the guys on the roster.
Gotcha. So, as far as the Pro Series is concerned, what do you see down the road? I mean, do you feel like you've got a chance to catch up to some of these teams who are just above you? Social Outcasts, Relentless. We just saw a game with Jam, and they obviously have plenty of talent there. How do you think you guys are going to fare, and what do you have to do to get to the point where you can make the playoffs?
Well, stay tuned for that Social Outcast, because I believe, if I'm not mistaken, we play them tomorrow night.
Okay.
So that's definitely a big game on our plate, and we have to prepare for that, and we have to come out with our best. As far as other games, standings are concerned, my hope is to finish top 5. I really don't want to finish bottom 3 going into playoffs.
Right.
Yeah, we do play Social Outcasts tomorrow, 10:30 and 11:15 again. At least scheduled, because God knows what's going to go on. But as far as overall standings, it's a real mix, because God knows anything can happen. Like, we expected to play a really competitive game tonight against Demo Crew. Unfortunately, they weren't able to field 6, and they had to take a forfeit on both. But things like that might happen in the future, because especially with games being scheduled in between LG NHL games, it's really tough to fit those games in. So you could see forfeit wins here and there. You could see backups being played because other guys have LG. You never know at this point.
Well, listen, thanks for taking the time with us, and too bad we didn't get a chance to see you guys play tonight. It looked like it was going to be a pretty good matchup, but we'll see. I'm sure we're going to see you somewhere down the road and catch one of your games.
Yep.
Thank you,
Thanks
sir.
for
Soccer player with us, joining us in lieu of the game tonight, and hopefully we'll get a chance to see their team real soon. Cosmo, a bit of a disappointment tonight not being able to get a chance to see these teams play, but it's hopefully we get a chance to get some games scheduled up in the near future. But I think there's no question that there is a level of competition that happens that with this league that is. These guys really want to win it's a pro series. That's what they see, and it's a chance for them to really, show their wares in a highly competitive situation. I got to believe that's why most of these guys have decided to play this.
Yeah, I mean, you're out here, you're competing with the top of the competition here. You're not facing 30 teams, and you might get lucky and face a team that's just, has a, I guess, an untalented group of players, because everybody here has talent and they get to practice with each other day in, day out, and still make time for their LG games. And if they can light up both, if they can do both and be talented in both areas, they have, those people you want on your team. But over here, people take Pro Series serious. Like, that was hard to say, actually, but you don't want people just taking it, the day off because they don't want to play that night.
Right.
Because you're out there to win. I mean, it's a buy-in league, so you don't want to, have buy in and then have guys, not showing up because they don't want to, and you lose out on your buy-in because of other players.
Right, absolutely.
You're in it to win it. If you lose, you lose. It sucks, but it happens.
Absolutely. All right. Well, you know what? Let's wrap it up here. And unfortunately, folks, we didn't have a game to call for you, but we're going to try and schedule these with some of the top flight games coming up and some good matchups down the road. Didn't work out tonight, but not anyone's fault. Just one of those things where games get rescheduled. So hopefully we'll be able to announce what games we have coming up down the road, and it won't be so much of a surprise for us. Cosmo, I will talk to you real soon, my friend, and it'll be interesting when we finally get a chance to call one of these games.
Yeah. Hopefully we get one here soon. I'll have to contact some people and see what we can get.
All right, folks. Well, that is going to be it for us tonight. We're sorry we didn't have a game for you, but we will have something soon, and we will throw it up on the LG Pro Series site and let you know when the game and the broadcast is going to be going on. Until then, T-Sibs, Cosmo saying so long, and we will talk to you soon.